The morning sun weaves its golden threads through the canopy of the ancient woods as Ella and I set up our picnic near the old oak, our annual retreat into nature to celebrate our anniversary. The air, perfumed with pine and the musky scent of autumn leaves, carries an undercurrent of tension this year, palpable and sour. Despite the idyllic setting, the chill between us is sharper than the breeze that rustles the branches. Ella, with her hair tied back and wearing her favorite faded jeans and a green flannel shirt, looks more the part of a woodland sprite than ever. Yet, the usual sparkle in her eyes is dimmed today, replaced by a distracted, almost nervous flicker. As she unfolds the blanket with mechanical precision, I try to bridge the gulf that has been widening between us over the past few months. Beautiful day, isn't it? I offer, spreading out the assortment of cheeses and fruits on the blanket. Yeah, it's nice. Her reply is brief, her attention snagged by something in the distance. I think we might need more wood for the fire. I saw a good spot back there on our way in. Sure, do you want me to come with you? I ask, noting how quickly she seizes the opportunity to leave the clearing. No, I'll be quick. Just set everything up here, she says, already moving towards the dense underbrush that leads further into the woods. As I watch her disappear among the trees, an uneasy feeling settles in my gut. It's not just the distance in her voice or the strained silences that have punctuated our conversations lately. It's something else, something that whispers that all is not right. Time stretches taut as I wait. The fire needs tending, and I poke at it absent-mindedly, my thoughts tumbling over one another. An hour slips by, far longer than necessary for gathering a few branches. The worry that initially nagged now roars full force. Something might have happened to her. Decision made, I stand, brush the dirt from my jeans, and head toward the woodsman's house nearby. Mr. Henley, the old woodsman with his weathered face and gnarled hands, is a familiar fixture in these parts. Perhaps he saw Ella, maybe even offered her help if she needed it. Approaching the quaint, log-built house, I call out, "Mr. Henley." "It's Jack." "Have you seen Ella around?" No answer. The woods seem to swallow my voice. A bad feeling curls in my stomach as I near the open door. Hesitating only a moment, I step inside, my eyes taking a second to adjust to the dim light. And then I see them. The tableau before me is stark, an image as clear as it is shocking. Ella, wrapped in nothing more than shadows and the bare skin of the forester who is not Mr. Henley, but a younger man I've never seen before. They are entwined on an old bearskin rug, lost in their betrayal. The sight is like a physical blow, knocking the breath from my lungs. Ella's eyes meet mine, wide with shock and something like fear. The young forester scrambles to his feet, reaching awkwardly for his clothes. "Jack, Ella starts, her voice a tremble. But I don't want to hear her excuses. The truth is splayed before me in the most explicit of ways. I back away, the image burning itself into my memory, a searing brand of betrayal. "I trusted you," is all I manage to say before turning and walking out, the door slamming shut behind me like the final chapter of a book. As I make my way back to our lonely picnic site, the resolve hardens within me. Ella has made her choice, and now I will make mine. Her deceit will not go unanswered. The rest of our lives might diverge here, but I am determined. I will have my retribution. Today was supposed to be a celebration of our love, but it has turned into the genesis of its unraveling. And as the fire crackles mockingly in the background, I start plotting the downfall of the life Ella chose over ours. After the revelation in the woodsman's cabin, the world seems to tilt on its axis. I drive back to town in a haze, my hands tight on the wheel, my mind racing. Revenge isn't just a fleeting desire, it becomes a necessity, a way to salvage some dignity from the wreckage of my marriage. But how? The answer comes in the form of an unlikely ally. I pull into the gravel driveway of my longtime friend and occasional confidant, Marcus. He's seen the highs and lows of my relationship with Ella, often cautioning me about the risks of ignoring the obvious signs of her wandering affections. His home, a modern structure with vast windows that reflect the fading sunlight, feels like a fortress as I approach. Marcus opens the door before I even knock. His expression is a mix of concern and irritation. Jack, I heard about what happened. Come in, you look like you've seen a ghost. Inside, the sharp scent of coffee mingles with the earthy aroma of incense. I slump into a chair as he pours 2 mugs, black, no sugar. You saw them? Marcus's voice is steady, his eyes keen. Yes, in the act. It was undeniable, I reply, the bitterness in my voice matching the coffee I sip. Marcus sits across from me, his demeanor serious. What are you planning to do? I want to ruin her, Marcus. Not just leave, ruin. She made a fool of me, and I can't let that go. Marcus nods slowly, his mind ticking behind his thoughtful gaze. Well, if you're set on this path, you'll need help. And perhaps a bit more than just a straightforward revenge. What do you mean? I know people, Jack. People who could turn the tables on Ella. Make her feel the depth of betrayal and loss she's inflicted on you. Listening to Marcus, I feel a dark resolve take root. He outlines a plan, involving several of his acquaintances who specialize in discreet, if morally ambiguous, services. There's Lana, a tech wizard who can infiltrate Ella's digital life, Theo, a private investigator with a knack for digging up dirt, and Nadia, a psychological manipulator who can push Ella towards the edge without her even noticing. The strategy is simple: isolate Ella socially and financially, erode her sense of security, and leave her with nothing but the ashes of her deception. It's extreme, but the wound of betrayal demands extreme measures. You sure about this? Marcus asks once the plan is set. His question isn't one of caution, but rather confirmation. I've never been more certain, I answer, feeling the weight of my decision. It feels like stepping off a cliff into a void, but I'm ready. Then let's begin. The next few days are a blur of activity. Lana taps into Ella's emails and social media, planting seeds of doubt among her friends and acquaintances. Theo uncovers a slew of past indiscretions, which we leak to her workplace, causing whispers and sideways glances that she cannot control. Nadia, posing as a new friend, begins to worm her way into Ella's confidence, only to steer her towards making public mistakes that shred her reputation. Each step is calculated, each move precise. As I watch the destruction from a distance, a part of me recoils at the severity of the onslaught. But then I remember the woodsman's house, the bare skin, and the look on her face, and any doubt evaporates. One evening, Marcus and I meet again, this time at a local bar, a quiet spot where the murmurs of other patrons blend into the background. It's working, he says simply, a glass of whiskey in hand. Yes, but it's not enough yet, I respond, the darkness within me not yet sated. What's the end game, Jack? Marcus's question hangs heavy between us. I want her to come to me, broken and remorseful, so I can turn her away. Marcus raises his eyebrows, his drink paused halfway to his lips. Be careful, Jack. Revenge has a way of consuming those who seek it most. I nod, acknowledging his warning, but already too far gone to turn back. The game is in play, and I am its relentless architect. As the night deepens, I realize the path I've chosen might change me forever, but turning back is no longer an option. Ella's downfall is the only outcome I will accept. The night is unusually silent as I sit alone in my dark living room, the only light emanating from the flickering flames in the fireplace. The game of revenge has been in play for weeks, and Ella's life is slowly crumbling under the pressure of our orchestrated assaults. But tonight, something feels different, a change in the wind, perhaps a turning point in our cruel drama. The knock on the door is unexpected, jarring in the quiet. I pause, my heart racing with a mixture of anticipation and dread. Peering through the peephole, I see Ella, her face haggard, eyes red-rimmed and desperate. This is the moment I've been waiting for, yet it tightens a knot of unease in my gut. I open the door, maintaining a composed facade. Ella. Jack, please, we need to talk, she pleads, her voice cracking with emotion. I step aside, letting her into the house. Her gaze flits around the familiar space, perhaps seeking remnants of the life we once shared. What do you want, Ella? My tone is cool, detached. I know I've made terrible mistakes. but everything's falling apart. My friends won't talk to me, my job is on the line, and I feel like I'm losing my mind, she stammers, the words tumbling out in a rush. I watch her, a part of me savoring the spectacle of her disarray. What do you expect me to do about it? I just want to understand why this is all happening. Is it you? Are you doing this to me? Her eyes are searching, desperate for truth. The honesty of the moment is tempting. Yes, Ella. It's me, I admit, the confession feeling both liberating and heavy. Her face crumples, pain and betrayal warring with relief at having the truth at last. Why, Jack? Why go this far? Because you hurt me, Ella. You cheated. You lied. And I wanted you to feel some of the pain I felt. Ella sinks into a chair, her energy seeming to drain away. I'm so sorry, Jack. I never wanted to hurt you. I was selfish, and I didn't think about the consequences. The room grows silent, the crackle of the fire punctuating the tension. My resolve begins to waver as I see the shell of the woman I once loved, now broken before me. Yet, the plan demands completion. Sorry isn't enough. Not now, I say coldly, although my heart clenches with the words. Ella nods, tears streaming down her cheeks. What are you going to do now? Finish what I started, I reply, though the words taste like ash in my mouth. She stands, wiping her face, a semblance of resolve hardening her features. Then I have nothing left to lose, Jack. I'll leave. You won't see me again. As she walks toward the door, a small, insistent voice in my head asks if this victory is as sweet as I imagined. The door clicks shut, and her departure marks the closure of our shared past. Alone, I sit back down, the weight of my action settling around me like a heavy cloak. The revenge I sought has been achieved, but the cost is a profound emptiness. I ponder Marcus's warning, the potential for my own ruin mirroring hers. The phone rings, slicing through the silence. It's Marcus. Jack, it's done. But we need to talk. This kind of game changes a person. You need to decide who you're going to be after it's all over. His words are a beacon, a warning that the path I've chosen might lead to my own desolation. The game of revenge is over, but the rebuilding of my life is an uncertain journey that lies ahead. I realize now the depth of my actions, and a new resolve forms, to find redemption, not just for Ella, but for myself. The weeks following Ella's departure are shrouded in a fog of introspection and gradual acceptance. I've achieved what I set out to do, but the victory is hollow, the taste of revenge bitter. The solitude of my home serves as a constant reminder of the cost of my actions. I continue my routine, but each day is tinged with regret, the shadows of my decisions looming large. Then, one rainy evening, as I'm sorting through old emails, a notification pops up, a message from Theo, the private investigator. Curious, I open it immediately. Theo requests a meeting, claiming it's urgent and relates to the investigation he conducted on Ella. Intrigued and anxious, I agree to meet him at a quiet cafe downtown the next day. The cafe is nearly empty when I arrive, the rain having deterred most of its usual patrons. Theo is already there, looking unusually somber. He greets me with a nod and gestures for me to sit down. Jack, there's something you need to know, Theo begins, his voice serious. During my investigation, I found things that might change your perspective. What do you mean? I ask, a knot forming in my stomach. It's about the man Ella was with that day in the woodsman's house. He wasn't just some random forester. I lean in, my heart racing. Go on. He's connected to Marcus. They've known each other for years. And from what I could gather, Marcus orchestrated their meeting that day. He knew you would go to the woodsman's house, and he knew what you would find there. The room spins as his words sink in. Why? Why would Marcus do that? Theo sighs, his eyes meeting mine with a weight of sympathy. I think Marcus wanted to manipulate you, to stir up trouble. Maybe he thought it would bind you to him, make you rely more on his advice, his plans. Resolve forms, to fight and fierce, courses through me. Betrayal stings anew, this time not just from Ella, but from Marcus, a man I considered a friend. I stand abruptly, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. I need to confront him, I say, more to myself than to Theo. I leave the cafe with a singular focus. The drive to Marcus's house is blurred, my thoughts consumed with the deceit, the elaborate manipulation by someone I trusted. Marcus opens the door, his expression changing from surprise to caution when he sees my face. "Jack, what's... Did you set me up? Did you arrange for me to catch Ella cheating?" I interrupt, my voice barely controlled. Marcus falters, his eyes darting away before he meets my gaze again. "Jack, I thought I was helping." "Helping? By destroying my marriage? By making me a puppet in your sick game?" "It wasn't like that. I thought if you saw her for who she really was." "You thought wrong," I cut him off. The revelation tears through the last thread of our friendship, leaving behind a chasm too wide to bridge. I leave Marcus standing in his doorway, the final words between us marking the end of our friendship. As I drive away, the rain clears, and the first rays of sunlight pierce the clouds, casting light on the murky path I had been led down. The weeks turn into months, and I start to rebuild, my life taking on a new direction away from the deception and manipulation. Ella reaches out once, a letter expressing her own betrayal by Marcus, her remorse palpable. But the past is a deep well of pain, and I choose not to revisit it. We remain apart, our paths diverged forever. In the end, the intrigue and deception revealed the true colors of those I trusted, teaching me a harsh lesson about revenge and trust. My journey forward is solitary, marked by a newfound resilience and a cautious heart that no longer seeks retribution but cherishes genuine connections and self-discovery.